I've been installing lightweight veneers for over 35 years. This is the easiest, fastest way to install thin brick in the market. Hi, I was just going to show you a quick little video about this new product. It's awesome. It's called Brickwebb. It's a thin brick product that is bonded to a webbing. When you install those, they tooth together to create a finished wall assembly. So it is genuine clay kiln brick. It's kilned over 2,000 degrees, so it will last for many generations. This island has been built with a precast concrete that is ready to receive a thin brick. To get started, there's some basic tools that you'll need for this project. One of them I love is margin. It's just to help you clean up and take material out of buckets. Tape measure. This is a hawk. Basically putting your adhesive material on to get it off. This is a notch trowel, 3/8. This is our peanut grinder or right angle grinder. It's a 4.5 inch diamond blade. Mortar bag when we're doing the grout. A joiner for tooling the grout. The adhesive that we're going to be using to attach that is old mill adhesive. It is a Palmer modified cement, very inexpensive. It is a great product. It will last forever on the wall. Simple mixing instructions. We'll be adding some water to a bucket. About 2 inches or so on the bottom of a 5-gallon bucket is plenty. You want to mix up about as much as you know you're going to be installing. It goes around 60 square feet per bag. Technique is just to set your foot up on the bucket. That way that it you don't lose control of that. It's a little bit runny. After you mix that up, you let it set for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then we'll break the set. Okay, we're going to go and start on this corner. We'll put as much adhesive on the corner as we need. We don't want to get too far in front of us. I'm just applying the adhesive with the flat side of the trowel first. Then what we want to do is use the notch trowel to clean that off and also give that a look just like that. Take the corner, and it's the same whether it's this side or this side. Just press that into the mesh. You want to make sure that the adhesive comes through the mesh, adhering to the brick. If you're not seeing that, then you need to go and you need to apply more mud to the wall. After that's attached, we want to finish that corner out. Take the next sheet and you take a razor blade. After you install the corners, you want to make sure that any of the mud that has come out on the sides is wiped off. We're going to go ahead and repeat the same process down on this corner at the other end and fill this section in. The flat brick panels are 4 courses high, so we're going to want to put our mud on about that same distance down, 4 courses. As we come to the corner, take our measurements and see where it fits. It looks like it sits in a 1.5 right there, so let's cut this. Cut that row of brick off. Come to this. Okay, once those are set, we can go ahead and start the next row. Okay, so the last 2 courses are real simple to do. Take the Brickwebb sheet and just cut it in half. And there's our 2 courses running around the bottom. Okay, got the this side done. The only thing we need to do now is put the mortar in the joints, finish out the brick around it, and we'll be getting a granite countertop on there. So now I've completed the brick installation. Using the Brickwebb method, I was able to complete about 1,300 brick in an 8-hour time period. This time we're going to go into installing the mortar. The mortar we'll be using is a Type S mortar, and it comes in an 80-pound bag. The different tools that I'll be using, obviously gloves, a margin. I'll be using a drop bag method, and brush to go and clean off the mortar, and a joiner tool. This is a 1/2 inch on one side and 5/8 on the other. Be using a 1/2 inch mixer and with the paddle and the bucket. So, okay, you're going to want to put in a couple inches of water in the bottom. It's close. We want it to be able to flow through the grout bag. But if it stays there on your margin, you're looking about right. So let's let that sit for about 5 minutes. While that sits there, we'll get everything else prepared. So on your grout bag, typically comes with about a 1/4 inch hole in the tip of the grout bag. You want to make sure that that's opened up a little bit more to about the 3/8. Okay, it is so warm today. The surface is fairly hot, so it is going to go a lot quicker than normal. I would suggest that you do this in the shade. So we'll just need to watch as we put the mud in. Timing is everything with the joiner, tooling that, and then also brushing that to keep it clean so that there's mortar not being stuck on there, and also that it cleans off to the right texture that you want. Let's see how that mud is. As it sets up, you want to break it one more time so it slows down the set on the wall. Okay, we'll just start here on this one side. One of the easiest steps is to do is just go and fold your grout back down. It keeps it cleaner. And then another little secret is I step on the tip of the bag. That way you can hold it open and it stays open easier. The mud doesn't come out the tip. If this is your first time, just do a little less material until you get the hang of it. Okay, bring it over and shake it and get all the air bubbles out of there. So I'll hold on to the top edge of it and just loop your hand right above where the material is in the bag and squeeze that tight. Once I have that tight there, I just twist this one counterclockwise and this one clockwise. And you can just check the tip and give it a squirt, and if it flows out, then it's the right consistency. If it's not flowing out, the mud's either too dry, or if you're just holding it like this and it's running out, too runny. You've got to give some pressure to that to be able to get that to flow. We're going to want to go and start at the top, and as I work this area, with it being as hot as it is, we'll check it a little quicker and not put as much material on at the beginning. The way I do this is that I tip the bag to a 45-degree angle to the wall. That way that the material flows out of the tip, it doesn't plug it up as you touch the wall. And then draw that back towards you, and that comes out of the bag very easily. And it sits, the tip of it sits right down inside of in between the brick joints. And just twist the back in while you're squeezing the front, and that controls it. So the pressure is always being kept on the back of the backhand, and then this one controls the direction, and also both of them squeeze that together at the same time to get that to come out. If it goes on like I just did right there, it just ran right on the brick, don't touch it. If you try to wipe it off at this point, it'll just smear and work its way into the brick. And when we go to tool it, that's when we'll deal with it and brush it off, and it'll clean right off. But if you try to do it wet, you make a bigger mess. I filled that up. I still got a little bit more. I'll just come back and hit the head joints of the mortar of the brick. Make sure it's over grouted so it bulges up a little bit above the brick. So this section right here has the mortar in it. It's still wet. It's sticking to my glove there. We'll wait just a minute more. Start putting a little bit more in here. One of the things that's important to do is stay in a pattern so that as it dries, you're not going to come and jumping back and doing like all your head joints. Try to keep those in the same area so that it dries consistently, so you know where you started and stopped. Okay, this touching this back here, it's setting up where it's not sticking to my finger there. Take a joiner, and I'm going to use this 5/8 first just to see what the pattern looks like on that. So on the ends, I just plug up the end with my finger when I go to push it on, and that way it compresses the mud up against it and it finishes a nice corner. Okay, I just hit the softer spot that I did that second bag to here, so I know I'm going to be working this surface area first and then come over to the second. So there's two ways you go and scrape across. There's the toe or the heel. The heel compresses the mortar into the joint, and so you can use both methods. You can tell if you're doing it too early, the mortar's really sticking on it. All we're going to do first on this first pass is knock down the big stuff, push down once over it. We're going to come back and be striking this at least 1 or 2 more times still. leave that just a little bit longer. We'll strike it one more time. Okay, we're not going to want to brush this until it sets about the same amount of time that we waited on the first time. One secret too you can do is pick up some of the mud that had dropped off, and there's a shallow spot right here that I want to put in. If I were to go and get the fresh mud and put that in there, I'd have to wait for that one area to set up as much as this is. If I retain some of this product and just put this back into the same spot, it's all at the same consistency and I can tool it right away. This area is set up quite a bit more. We'll go and take the brush, and what I want to do is brush this at a 45-degree angle. Usually I just kind of hit over it softly at first to knock off all the bigger stuff, and also to make sure that it's not too wet. I'm going to wait just on this side just a little bit longer. Okay, that's it for that area. Hope you enjoyed watching the video. It's a great product, very fast, easy to do, to be able to get an excellent masonry veneer finish. Go to installbrickwebb.com, be able to look up 12 different colors of brick, corners, flats, and you can order samples there. Thank you.